What's up guys, I'm here in my flat in central Moscow, but today I'm going to take you on a trip to a place which is considered to be the most dangerous in the whole of Moscow. Tourists are advised to avoid this part of town at any time of the day for a variety of reasons. Well, when I read all of these news articles, I thought to myself that I absolutely had to go to Western Biryulyovo and show you what this situation is there. Surely we'll get mugged, murdered, and at the very least we will hopefully get kidnapped. Let's go. I just got the metro and I am now in the southern edges of Moscow, although I'm not yet in my final destination for the day. Indeed, the Biryulyovo, the hood of Biryulyovo, is one of the very few districts in the whole of Moscow which doesn't have a metro station. That means that I now need to jump on a bus. It's going to be a 20-minute ride and I'll finally be in the most dangerous part and district of Moscow. Whoa, looks like I made it! Biryulyovo! I can already breathe the air of the most dangerous part of Moscow. Now, what is interesting about this part of town is its urban planning. Indeed, I already told you that this is the only part of Moscow which doesn't have a metro station, and that's because it's surrounded by either railway lines or highways. On the eastern side, you have this railway right here, and you have another one on the other side, on the western side of Biryulyovo. On the south side, you have the MKAD, which is the highway which separates the city of Moscow from the Moscow region. And the reason why there is no metro station around here is just because of this very railway platform. There are talks, and the local administration even wants, there are plans to build a metro station here, but most residents don't want that because they feel like they can do perfectly okay with just this, and they fear that the implementation of a metro station can even bring crime to the hood of Biryulyovo and probably tarnish its reputation. How do I feel so far? Not bad, I feel mildly safe. Don't see many dodgy dudes hanging around. But you need to consider the sun is out shining, and of course when the sun is out shining, you always feel better. You don't feel the danger approaching you. I reckon if it was a very grey day, maybe a rainy day, it would be much worse. Wow, look at this. I don't think in my life I've ever seen bullet holes just like this. Man, it's so creepy now. Look at this. This damage was done by much more than a bullet, but wow, sorry guys, I got scared a little bit because this is actually the first time in my life that I see bullet holes. I don't know if you guys can read this in a Russian accent in the same way that I do. Go to home, baby. And now you can see the signs, graffiti signs that probably belong to some local gang here in Biryulyovo, who knows? Maybe I'm in danger just standing right here in front of these signs. That's maybe the reason why you can read this. Go to home, baby. You're a tourist, what are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. Just go home for your own safety. Now let me tell you a little bit about the demographics of this place and a little bit about the people inhabiting this part of town. In order to do that, I have to tell you a little bit about the immigration history of Russia. Russia, throughout the course of its 30 years after the collapse of the Soviet Union, has seen three large immigration waves. The first one was from the former Soviet Union countries close to Europe of Belarus and Ukraine. After that, it was the turn of the Chechens from Chechnya. emigrating and immigrating to Moscow, to the rest of Russia and of course Moscow, after the Chechen wars of the 90s and the early 2000s. After that, what Russia is still seeing now, as you can see the police patrolling the streets of Biryulyovo, what Russia is still seeing now is a large immigration input from the former Soviet Union countries of Central Asia. Of course, the countries that are very much often referred to as the Stans, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and others. And so Biryulyovo, a large part of the population here in Biryulyovo, or Biryulyovo rather, consists of people, of immigrants from those very same countries. Skwer Szkolny. Looks like we got to a really nice park in the center of the most dangerous hood of Moscow, Russia. Are we going to find drug dealers, syringes? I don't know. Let me also tell you something interesting about the history of Biryulyovo in this place right here. In fact, Biryulyovo became known in Western media in 2013 because of huge riots and protests that occurred following the murder of a resident of Biryulyovo of Russian ethnicity by an immigrant from Central Asia. And the protest lasted and occurred for a week or so, with most residents that pretty much blocked most streets all around this park, all around the district. Wow, there's even a mini stadium, a sporting complex, where the local football talents of Biryulyovo come here and they can train and they can hopefully become one of the top stars of the Russian Premier League. Starting from Biryulyovo, now we're here. How can this be considered the most dangerous hood of Moscow when you have such welcoming graffitis like this one? Look at how much of a good spirit the people living here are. You can see this sign says "Котята в любящие руки." There are some people here who are worried about like stray cats, random cats, who have been found just roaming around a basement of some people living here, and they're please asking somebody to take care of them. Wow. But the problem is that just a few meters from that sign you can see these black, dark bags. Who knows what's inside of that? Probably bodies, severed bodies, limbs. Nope. Looks like it's just leaves. Now look. There's a little mini London right in the center of Biryulyovo. You have the usual London double-decker. You have the guards to the Queen. You can have some cups of tea, and look, the Big Ben. Amazing. I reckon this mini London right here in Biryulyovo is much safer than the actual London in the UK. It's also interesting how international and globalized the community here in Biryulyovo is becoming. Look at this. Английский язык для детей с 6 лет. They're looking for English teachers for their kids of 6 years of age. Мы ждем вас по адресу. That's the address, that's the number. So if you fancy becoming English teachers here in the most dangerous part of Moscow, just come here. You know what? Actually, let me save the address. I could use some extra money. I just can't get quite enough of how well organized the urban planning of Biryulyovo is. Just look at this. You have this nice bench. You can of course sit on it and just enjoy the cars passing by on this street in the most dangerous hood of Moscow. So at the end of the day, guys, what can I say? I'm a bit disappointed, if I must say, because I was hoping to find much more interesting content here in the allegedly most dangerous hood of Moscow. But it wasn't like that. That's not what I found. But surely one consideration is that one good thing about the Soviet Union was that most citizens were of equal social status, or rather people of different social statuses used to live together in the same neighborhood. The rich used to live with the poor, and the poor used to live with the rich. There was one big difference to what has been happening in social situations in Europe and in the US, and this pretty much favored a good social context, let's say, and pretty much the most important thing is that ghettos were not a thing in the Soviet Union just because of this, unlike the US and Europe. Now, of course, capitalism has been bringing Russia for the past 30 years to a much closer, much more similar scenario and situation to America and Europe, but still. That's actually the reason why I came here and what I was looking forward to find it. A ghetto. That's what I read on the internet, that this was supposed to be the most dangerous part, the most dangerous ghetto. You're going to get killed, you're going to get raped and whatnot. But it definitely wasn't what I found. So I'll just leave you guys with that. I'll see you next time. Peace from Biryulyovo.